Hello and welcome to our writers workshop session today. So we are going to be starting a brand new writing unit that's focusing all on writing realistic fiction. So when you were in third grade, you wrote personal narratives and became stronger writers. Now we're going to take all that knowledge you learned in third grade, and now we're going to learn how to write fiction stories. So let's look at our learning target today. So read this with me at home as I read it out loud. I can collect ideas for realistic fiction stories by looking at small moments in my life to develop myself as a fiction writer. So today is an important day because you are going to start to collect ideas for your fiction stories in your writer's notebook. And I want to teach you how to find those ideas. And the most important thing I can teach you is this. Writers get ideas for fiction just like they get ideas for almost all kinds of writing by paying attention to small moments in their own lives. So when I was a little girl, I thought all fiction writers laid on the grass and looked up in the clouds and imagined all these amazing make-believe stories about castles and puppy dogs. But when I grew up and I went to school, I learned how real fiction writers truly get their ideas. Does this book right here, Charlotte's Web, look familiar to you? Did you know that E.B. White, the author of Charlotte's Web, got the idea for the book by just laying on a bale of hay in his barn, watching a spider spin her web? The barn animals, the pigs, the geese were all around, and his little spider was delicately spinning her web. In that moment, I imagine he probably wrote an entry in that moment in his writer's notebook. And then later, sitting at a desk, he reread his entry and remembered that moment and thought, I could write a story about that. Of course, when I say that writers get ideas by paying attention in their own lives, I don't mean that they record exactly what happened and call it fiction. When E.B. White was laying there and watching the spider didn't spell out the words some pig or save or watch her save a runt pig from the butcher. But fiction writers do, however, pay attention to their lives. The imagination that really matters for fiction is this. You, just like E.B. White, can find important stories in something as simple as watching a spider in your barn. You can take a small moment story in your life or anything else, just like that spider, and say, wait a minute, this is giving me an idea for a fiction story. I could write about this. Let me show you what I mean. I'm going to think about a small moment in my life, remembering strategies I've learned in the past about getting small moments. One of my favorite strategies is I think about a time that I was feeling really strong emotions. One time I remember that I had a really strong emotion is when I fell down the stairs in elementary school. I was so embarrassed. I'm going to write about that. And as I'm remembering the story at the back of my mind, I'm also thinking, what are some ideas for possible fiction stories? This is my story. Hold on to the railing, I heard Miss Smith say as our class headed down the stairs. We had just practiced dancing in the gym and I was feeling a little wild after all that dancing. I turned to my best friend Rachel and I started joking around. Care to dance? I asked, just as I felt my feet start to slip from underneath me. I'm going to stop there. As I was writing the story, I realized I don't need to finish writing my story because I already have some ideas for my possible fiction story, ideas from my real life story. I started thinking about all the different ideas I can write. Here's some of my thoughts. I thought, I could write a story about a girl dreading to go to the gym because she knows that they'll be dancing that day and she hates dancing. So she pretends to hurt her ankle on the way to the gym. Or maybe there's a story about a kid who has to do something and gets distracted and falls down the stairs. Or maybe he's carrying his science project, was feeling confident and lets go of the railing and he falls. So now it's your turn to try. Let's try to think of a small moment we've had together as a class since the first day of school. Now, if you're not in my class, think about in your class. Let's look at some ideas to help you figure out your small moment. If you're having trouble thinking about your small moment, I like to think of a person who matters to me. I'll list small moments with that person and then choose one to write the story. Do you have your small moment yet? If you need some more time thinking about your small moment, go ahead and pause this video. All right, now I want you to share your small moment story with someone. Make sure to tell it to them with dialogue. Tell me what the people are saying. Tell me about the actions that are happening, and tell me what you were thinking. If in that moment, as you're telling a story, just like as I did earlier, and you get an idea for a possible fiction story, share that also with your partner. All right, remember that fiction writers find story ideas in the moments in their lives. And today and every day when you want to write fiction, you can gather small, true moments in your lives. All right, happy writing.